Hello students, welcome you once again back to GK's maths classes. Okay, today we are going to do inverse trigonometric function. This is the part 2 video. Already I have introduced part 1 where I have talked about the concept of inverse trigonometric function and also the graph related to inverse trigonometric function, where I also used GeoGebra to make you understand the graph of inverse trigonometric function and how what is inverse trigonometric function, how it is derived from trigonometric function. It is nothing but reflection of a trigonometric function with respect to the line y equal to x. So the concept has been explained. So if you have any clarity, if you are not having any clarity on that, if you want to go back to that, I will put the description in the description box, the previous video. You can always refer to that. Okay. Now I would like you to also to subscribe to my channel and continue your support that you have been rendering, and also to click on the bell icon to get notifications on all videos that I post. So today we are going to talk about inverse trigonometric function, where we are going to talk about formulas and also problems related to these formulas. Okay. So basically all these questions which I'm going to do now are from Ncert book, and they are all very important 1-mark question. Today mostly we are going to cover all types of 1-mark questions related with inverse trigonometric function from the Ncert book. In the subsequent video I will also post questions not from the Ncert book which has appeared in the board exam or slightly of higher order. Okay, so let us make a beginning. Now this is the first of its kind formula. There are a lot of formulas in this. The first formula is sine inverse of 1 by x is cosecant inverse of x. It is something similar to a reciprocal relation in trigonometry. Sine theta, sine theta is 1 by cosecant theta, right? That is what we studied in class 11th. But here it is not, you cannot write sine inverse of x as 1 by cosecant inverse of x. This is not correct. This is not the way you write. Instead, what do I do? The formula is sine inverse of x is cosecant inverse of 1 by x, or sine inverse of 1 by x is cosecant inverse of x. The other one I've written here, the other formula connected with sine. Sine inverse of x is cosecant inverse of 1 by x, or you can write cosecant inverse of x is sine inverse of 1 by x, subject to the domain of definition. So here cosecant x, the domain is all real numbers except -1 to 1 open interval. Now if I have to write for this function, it will be closed interval -1 comma 1, because the domain of definition of sine inverse x is from -1 to 1. Okay, so always refer to the table that is given in the Ncert book to understand the domain. So when you are talking about sine inverse of x, I will write the domain of my sine inverse of x. When I talk about cosecant inverse of x, I talk about the domain of cosecant. It is nothing but r minus open interval -1 comma 1. That is what is written here. Now I will derive one of the formulas for you. Maybe I will derive this for you. Then the other things will go without saying. Now here what do? You just have to put x is equal to sine theta. You put x as sine theta. When you put x as sine theta, you have sine inverse of sine theta. Sine inverse of sine theta. It is something like saying it's a composition of function where sine inverse and sine get cancelled. Okay, you get theta. You can imagine that sine inverse is like 1 by sine into sine theta. This is a wrong way of understanding. You can definitely not understand like this, but to know the formula, it is something similar to this. Sine inverse of sine theta is theta. The idea is, if I have theta under the function called sine, it becomes sine theta, right? Now the reverse, when I take sine inverse of sine theta is theta. That is the right way to understand this formula. So I have got sine inverse of x. This is my left hand side. Sine inverse of x is sine inverse of sine theta, which is theta. Now I go to the right hand side. Now what is my right hand side? My right hand side is cosecant inverse of 1 by x, which is cosecant inverse of 1 by x sine theta, correct? Which is same as cosecant inverse of, what is 1 by sine? Sine is cosecant. Now using the same logic, you would go with cosecant, come back by cosecant inverse, you get back the theta. So clearly you can see left hand side is equal to right hand side. Therefore sine inverse of x is equal to cosecant inverse of 1 by x. Derivation not important, but you can derive everything. For this problem, you can put, if you want to derive this, you can put x is equal to cosecant theta and try. Okay. So I have given you all the formulas. So the corresponding formula for this one more will be sine inverse of x will be cosecant inverse of 1 by x. What about this? It will be cos inverse of x will be secant inverse of 1 by x. And for this it will be tan inverse of x is equal to cot inverse of 1 by x. Now for all this you have to write the domain of definition of sine inverse x, cos inverse x and tan inverse x. Okay. So that you should not forget to write. Okay. So these are the 6 formulas that you should know first to start with. These are the 6 formulas which are very, very, very important. Okay. I look at them as a reciprocal relation that you have studied in trigonometry. Like you see, the reciprocal of cos is secant. The reciprocal of tan is cot. But you don't reciprocate like this, but instead you reciprocate it with the variable that you have. I think this formula is clear. So please make a note down of this formula. It's very, very important. Now, what is the next formula? The next formula, there are 2 categories to it. First, I group all the trigonometric functions with sine inverse, tan inverse, and cosecant inverse. I group them like this because for me, the principal range for all this is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, which we already discussed last class. Okay. For tan inverse, it's open interval. For cosecant inverse, it's closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, excluding 0. Those details you can always cross check in the Ncert book. So this is the thing. So that means it is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2 means it is either in the first quadrant or in the fourth quadrant. So even it is sine inverse of minus x, it's like saying it's in the fourth quadrant. In the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So sine inverse of minus theta is minus sine inverse of theta. Just like what you did in trigonometry. Sine of minus theta is minus sine theta. Something similar to that happens there. So sine inverse of minus x is minus sine inverse of x. Similarly, you know, tan of minus theta is what? Tan of minus theta is minus tan theta. Exactly the same there. Tan inverse of minus x is minus tan inverse of x. And cosecant inverse of minus x is minus cosecant inverse of x. Do not forget these formulas. They are very, very important. But here it will be different because here the domain, the principal range is 0 to pi. 0 to pi means it is first quadrant and second quadrant. Okay. So when I say minus x, it's like going to the second quadrant. How do I go to the second quadrant? It's 180 minus theta. That is why you have 180 minus cos inverse x, 180 minus secant inverse x, 180 minus cot inverse x. See this? It is totally different from this. So for cos inverse, secant inverse and cot inverse, it is pi minus because my principal range is 0 to pi. So you have to go to the second quadrant. So it is pi minus cos inverse x, pi minus secant inverse x, and pi minus cot inverse x. Whereas for sine inverse, tan inverse, cosecant inverse, the principal range is minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, which is something like first and fourth quadrant. Since it's in the fourth quadrant, all these are negative. Using the same logic, I get sine inverse of minus x is minus sine inverse of x, tan inverse of minus x is minus tan inverse of x, and cosecant inverse of minus x is minus cosecant inverse of x. So do not forget these formulas. They are very, very, very important. Derivation also is very, very simple. If you want me to derive one, I'll show you. If I want to derive this, for example, you put minus x equal to sine theta. If I put minus x is equal to sine theta, what do I get? Sine inverse of sine theta, which is theta, which is your left hand side. Now let's go to the right hand side. What is my right hand side? Minus sine inverse of x, which is minus sine inverse of what is x? X is minus sine theta, correct? So which is same as you can say minus sine inverse of, minus sine theta is sine of minus theta. So sine inverse of sine of minus theta will be minus theta. Minus of minus is plus. So you get the same. Okay. Of course, derivation is not important. Just for your understanding, I have done. You can repeat the process for all of them. So derivation is not required. If it is required, you can always refer to the Ncert book. And I have given you one. So you should be able to do for the remaining. It's not difficult. For this, you put cosecant. Minus x is cosecant. Here you put minus x is tan. Here you can put minus x as cos. Okay. It will definitely come. Okay, maybe I will do one derivation here because I have done for this, I have to do for this, right? So I will do for, say, cos inverse of minus x is pi minus cos inverse of x. How do I do it? I put minus x as cos theta. Okay, so what do you get? Or you get cos inverse of cos theta, that is theta. Now take the right hand side, pi minus cos inverse of x, which is pi minus cos inverse of minus cos theta, correct? Which is pi minus cos inverse of, minus cos theta is cos 180 minus theta, correct? So this is pi minus cos inverse of cos pi minus theta is pi minus theta. If you simplify this, you get theta. So clearly you can see left hand side is equal to right hand side. So derivation is done. Same thing can be done for the rest of the things. Okay. I don't want to waste my time in this derivations, which is not so important as far as exam is concerned. So here now the third one. Okay, this is done. So again you see everything is connected with trigonometry. If you look at the first formula, this is reciprocal relation. And if you look at the second formula, it is basically sine of minus theta is minus sine theta, cos of minus theta is cos theta. You see, using those relation only, I got all this. Okay. Now, the next one is sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2. You have done something similar to this, like cos of 90 minus theta is sine theta, complementary angles, or sine of 90 minus theta is cos theta. This is what you have studied in trigonometry. I am going to apply the same thing here also. Now, how am I going to do that? Watch this. You see, this is sine inverse of x and cos inverse of x. I want to prove that it is pi by 2. Now, how we will find out? Clearly, now what you do, you put x as sine theta. If you don't want to put x as sine theta, you put x as cos theta. Since there is sine inverse of x, I put sine theta. So you also have cos inverse of x. You can even put x as cos theta, no issues. Okay. So now what happens? This is sine inverse of sine theta plus cos inverse of sine theta, correct? But sine inverse of sine theta is theta. I already told you. Plus cos inverse of, what is sine theta? Sine theta is nothing but cos of 90 minus theta, correct? So cos inverse of cos 90 minus theta is 90 minus theta. So they get cancelled. You got pi by 2. So this is something similar to this. So you can even write sine inverse of x is pi by 2 minus cos inverse of x. So it looks something like this. But you don't have, it doesn't look exactly like this, but that is the, everything is got from trigonometry only. So sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is 90. Tan inverse of x and cot inverse x is 90 because tan of 90 minus theta is cot theta and cot of 90 minus theta is tan theta. They are complement to each other. Similarly, it works for secant inverse of x plus cosecant inverse of x is pi by 2. Very, very, very important formula. Okay, let's go back to this problem solving. We are going to solve the problems. There are only 6 questions. All these are from the NCERT book. So let's start with the first question. Sine inverse of minus half. But you know very well, we have just done that sine inverse of minus x is minus sine inverse of x. So using the same formula, this will be minus sine inverse of 1 by 2. Correct? Now tell me, sine of what is 1 by 2? You know, sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2. So what is pi by 6? Sine inverse of 1 by 2. So the answer is minus pi by 6. I hope this is clear. Now let's go to the second question. What is the second question? The second question is cos inverse of root 3 by 2. Here there is no hassle for me, but there is no negative sign. So all that I need to do is cos of what is root 3 by 2. You know, cos pi by 6 is root 3 by 2. So what is pi by 6? Cos inverse of root 3 by 2. So what is the answer? Pi by 6. Very simple, straightforward. Now the third question. Cosecant inverse of 2. Right? What is 2 in terms of cosecant? It is nothing but cosecant pi by 6. You know, sine pi by 6 is 1 by 2. Cosecant pi by 6 is 2. So what is cosecant inverse of cosecant pi by 6? Pi by 6. Correct? So very, very simple. It's not at all difficult. Now the fourth question. What's the fourth question? Tan inverse of minus root 3. Tan inverse of minus root 3. You know, tan inverse of minus x. What is the formula for tan inverse of minus x? It is minus tan inverse of x. So if I apply it here, it will be minus tan inverse of root 3. Tan of what is root 3? Tan of pi by 3 is root 3. So this will be tan inverse of tan pi by 3. And what is tan inverse of tan pi by 3? It is pi by 3. So the answer is minus pi by 3. Correct? So this is the first question. This is your second. This is your third question. And that's your fourth. Now let's go to the fifth question. Fifth question is cos inverse of minus half. This is my fifth one. But you know, cos inverse of minus x is pi minus cos inverse of x. Correct? So cos inverse of minus half will be pi minus cos inverse of half. Correct? Now tell me, what is cos inverse of half? Cos of what is half? You know, cos pi by 3, cos 60 is half. Correct? So this is pi minus cos inverse of cos pi by 3 is pi by 3. So I get 2 pi by 3 as the answer. Isn't it lovely? It's simple. All carries 1 mark. Very easily you can do. Now let's go to the sixth one. What is tan inverse of minus 1? What is tan inverse of minus x? Minus tan inverse of x. Tan of what is 1? Tan pi by 4 is 1. So tan inverse of tan pi by 4 is pi by 4. Already you have a minus sign. The answer is minus pi by 4. I finished these 6 questions in no time. Okay, and these are the type of questions that they may ask you in your MCQ. They may club two problems together or 3 problems together, but these are very high potential 1 mark questions. Very, very important. Be careful about it. Okay. Now I have given some questions here. I think you can try this. I have just put it as a slide. If when you get time, please try this. If you don't get it, always please put it in the comment section. I will definitely respond to you. Okay, these are the problems that you can try. I don't want to do those problems because it is exactly like what I did those first 6 questions. Now, this problem I would like to do, as I told you, it's a combination of 2 questions. Okay. Now, tan inverse of 1 plus cos inverse of minus half plus sine inverse of minus half. Correct? Now this is tan inverse of, what is 1 in terms of tan? It's tan pi by 4. When there is a tan inverse outside, I have to get in terms of tan only inside. Then only I can use the logic. Now what is cos inverse of minus 1? Pi minus cos inverse of half. You know cos inverse of minus x is pi minus cos inverse of x. Don't forget this. Now what is sine inverse of minus half? Minus sine inverse of half. Sine inverse of minus x is minus sine inverse of x. There's a shortcut to do also, but I want you to get used to this formula. That's why I'm doing it a little lengthy. What is this? Tan inverse of tan pi by 4 is pi by 4 plus pi minus, what do you get? Cos inverse of cos pi by 3 minus sine inverse of sine pi by 6. Correct? Sine pi by 6 is half. So this is 5 pi by 4 minus, this is pi by 3, this is pi by 6, which is 5 pi by 4 minus pi by 2, because 30 and 60 if you add, you get 90. So this is 5 pi by 4 minus 2 pi by 4. So the answer is 3 pi by 4. Is that clear? But the easiest way that you can think of is look at this problem. This can also be done like this. Tan inverse of 1 is pi by 4, but you have a beautiful result that sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2. So this sine inverse of x, both the numbers are same. Sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2. So what's the answer? 4 is the LCM. Pi plus 2 pi, the answer is 3 pi by 4. In fact, in the exam, if they ask this question, do like this. I did this way because we are new to this, I thought I should introduce you to this formulas. So either you do like this or like this. I prefer this method. Okay. Now this problem, let us, you can try by yourself. You know cos inverse of half is pi by 3. Sine inverse of half is pi by 6. So pi by 3 plus pi by 3, answer is 2 pi by 3. Okay, let's come back to this one. This is a very, very simple. Sine inverse of x is y. Okay. Remember I told you sine inverse of x is y, means x is sine y. Correct? So y is an angle. So what is the principal range of sine? The principal range of sine inverse is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So it's a closed interval. So which of the option is correct? B is the right answer. All these are from Ncert, very, very important. Instead of sine inverse, they may give you some other function. Be careful. We will do more problem with difficulty in the next video. Today, we will, whatever formula that you have done, we will just brush those formulas. That's all. Okay. Now let's come back to this problem. This is also very simple. It is an Ncert question. Tan inverse of root 3 minus secant inverse of minus 2. What is root 3 in terms of tan? Tan pi by 3 is root 3. And secant inverse of minus x is pi minus secant inverse of x. Secant inverse of minus x is pi minus secant inverse of x. Don't forget this. So tan inverse of tan pi by 3 is pi by 3 minus pi minus secant of what is 2? Secant pi by 3. Secant pi by 3 is 2 because secant 60 is 2. So you have got pi by 3 minus pi by 3. Now open the bracket. What do you get? Pi by 3 minus pi plus pi by 3. So you got 2 pi by 3 minus pi. which is nothing but minus pi by 3. So which is the answer? Minus pi by 3 is the answer. Very simple. Just apply the formula. You will definitely get it. It's not at all complicated. This is again a very nice NCERT question. It's a much simpler one. There are more complicated ones. We'll do it later. So this is tan bird mass rule. Go right inside the bracket. 2 sine inverse of half is nothing but sine pi by 6. Brackets are careful. Half is sine pi by 6. So what do you get? You get tan inverse of 2 cos 2 sine. What is sine inverse of sine pi by 6? It's pi by 6. Correct? They get cancelled. You get 3. So I get tan inverse of 2 times. What is cos pi by 3? Cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2. So they get cancelled. I get tan inverse of 1. Now what is tan inverse of 1? Tan pi by 4 is 1. Therefore tan inverse of 1 is pi by 4. So start with 1 by 2, that is pi sine pi by 6. Sine inverse of sine pi by 6 is pi by 6. Already there's a 2, they get cancelled. You get pi by 3. But cos pi by 3 is 1 by 2. There's a 2, they get cancelled. So I get tan inverse of 1. Tan inverse of 1 is nothing but pi by 4. Fatafat you get the answer. It's not at all difficult. I hope all these are clear to you. Now, this is another very, very beautiful sum. 1 mark question where children sometimes make mistake. All that you need to know is the formula. What is tan inverse? What is tan inverse x plus cot inverse x? You know it is pi by 2. So this will become pi by 2. So you know cot pi by 2 is 0 because tan pi by 2 is undefined. So cot is reciprocal of tan. So tan pi by 2 is 0. 1 mark. If you know this formula, you get 1 mark. Very, very simple. Now let's go to this next question. This is also very, very simple and very beautiful sum. This is sine of sine inverse 1 by 5 plus cos inverse x equal to 1. Take the sine that side. What do you get? Sine inverse of 1 by 5 plus cos inverse of x equal to sine inverse of 1. But sine inverse of 1 is nothing but sine pi by 2. Sine pi by 2 is 1. And sine inverse of sine pi by 2 is pi by 2. Correct? Now you have a wonderful relation. You know that sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2. So if you have to get this as pi by 2, these two should be same. So what is the value of x? X is 1 by 5. Very simple, isn't it? Take sine that side, you get sine inverse of 1. Sine inverse of 1 is pi by 2. So sine inverse of x plus cos inverse of x is pi by 2. So x has to be 1 by 5. That's all. In no time you get the answer. It's a 1 mark question again. And these are very, very important question where students definitely make a lot of mistake in this. It's again a 1 mark question. You have to be very, very careful about this. Now, before I do this problem, at every stage I will tell you what is the principal ranges. The principal range of sine inverse is from minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So you have to check whether 2 pi by 3 lie in that or not. 2 pi by 3 is nothing but 2 into 60, which is 120 degrees. It does not lie there. This is from minus 90 to plus 90. So this is outside the principal range. So if you write the answer as, if you write this answer as 2 pi by 3, you are wrong. Sine inverse of sine x is x only when x lie in the principal range. You have to make that x to lie in the principal range. Otherwise, sine inverse of sine 2 pi by 3 cannot be 2 pi by 3. If you write 2 pi by 3, thinking that sine inverse of sine x is x, it's not correct. So what do? I have to make this to lie in the principal range. So you get sine inverse of sine. Can I write 2 pi by 3 as pi minus pi by 3? Now how do I know? 120 is in second quadrant. So 180 minus 60. 180 is pi. 60 is pi by 3. Now, what is sine 180 minus theta? You have studied this in class 11th. Sine pi minus theta is sine theta, correct? So I get sine inverse of sine pi by 3, correct? Does pi by 3 lie in the principal range? Yes, this is 60. It lies between minus 90 to plus 90. So my answer is pi by 3. You see what a difference, isn't it? So it cannot be 2 pi by 3. It has to be only pi by 3. Be careful about it. Sine inverse of sine x is x only when x lie in the principal range. Okay, that finishes this problem. Okay, let's go to this one. What is the principal range of tan inverse? It is once again minus pi by 2 to pi by 2, but here there's a small change. It is in the open interval. You know, tan pi by 2 is undefined, tan minus pi by 2 is also undefined. So it is in the open interval. Now, does 3 pi by 4 lie there? You know, 3 pi by 4 is 3 into 45, which is 135. My God, it is outside the range. This is only 90. 135 is outside. So tan inverse of tan 3 pi by 4 cannot be written as 3 pi by 4. It will be wrong. So instead, what do? This is tan inverse of tan 135 is in the second quadrant. So I will write pi minus pi by 4. Take LCM and see, you get 3 pi by 4. Correct? Now what is tan 180 minus theta? Tan 180 minus theta is minus tan theta because tan is negative in the second quadrant, class 11th. Trigonometry will chase you always. This is tan inverse of minus tan pi by 4, correct? Tan inverse of minus tan pi by 4. Now, what is tan inverse of minus x? It is minus tan inverse of x, correct? So what is tan inverse of minus x? It's minus tan inverse of x. Here I treat tan pi by 4 as x. Now what is tan inverse of tan pi by 4? Yeah, pi by 4 lie in the principal range. It's 45 degrees. So it is pi by 4. Already I have a minus sign, so it is minus pi by 4. So if you write 3 pi by 4, everything is gone. So make sure when you're using this formula that x lie in the principal range. Very, very important concept, very, very important type of question. Now look at cos inverse. The principal range of cos inverse is 0 to pi. The principal range is 0 to pi. Don't forget that. 0 to 180. Now what is 7 pi by 6? It is 7 into 30, which is 210. 210 is in the third quadrant. It goes to the third quadrant. So how do I go to the third quadrant? It's pi plus pi by 6, correct? You can take LCM, that is 6 pi plus pi is 7 pi by 6. You are in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, what is in the third quadrant? Cos is negative, correct? In the third quadrant, cos is negative. So cos pi plus pi by 6 will be minus cos pi by 6, correct? Minus cos pi by 6. Now, what is cos of minus theta? Cos inverse of minus theta. Cos inverse of minus theta will be pi minus cos inverse of theta. Cos of minus theta will be pi minus cos inverse of theta. Today only we discuss those formulas. So this will be pi minus cos inverse of cos pi by 6. Correct? Now, you know pi by 6 lie in 0 to pi. So definitely it will work. So cos inverse of cos pi by 6 will be pi by 6. So your final answer is 5 pi by 6. Many students, when they give this question in the exam, what they will do, they will write the answer as 7 pi by 6. Some of them, not everyone, some of them. And everything is gone. So make sure that value which is there lie in the principal range. Again and again I'm repeating this. Okay, let us try this problem. It's again a nice question. What is the principal range? 0 to pi. All these are from the Ncert book. I have not done anything from outside today. Okay. Now, what is this? 13 into 30. 13 into 30. What is that? This is 390. 390 is in the first quadrant. 390 is the first one, but you have gone round, right? So it is cos inverse of cos 360 plus pi by 6. Now you can take LCM. 12 pi plus pi is 13. So 390 is written as 360 plus 30. I'm always comfortable with numbers than pi. So that is why I make it in angles, in terms of degrees. So this is cos inverse of, cos 2 pi plus theta, it's in the first quadrant. In the first quadrant, cos is positive, so it is cos theta. All this you are supposed to know from class 11th. Supplementary angles and complementary functions. Now what is this? Pi by 6 is in the principal range. Therefore, the answer is pi by 6. Isn't it nice? Now let's look at this problem. This is, here it will be open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. This is the principal range of tan inverse. First, that should strike you. Okay, then what is 7 pi by 6? 7 into 30, which is 210. My God, it is way outside. But where is 210? 210 is in the third quadrant. 180 plus 30. So how do I write this? Tan inverse of tan 180 plus 30. 30 is pi by 6. But tan 180 plus theta, third quadrant, tan is positive. So you get tan theta only. So this will be tan inverse of tan pi by 6. Now what is tan inverse of tan pi by 6? It is pi by 6. So if you have written 7 pi by 6, it's wrong. So make sure your angle lie in the principal range if you want to use this formula. You understand? I think with that we finish the problems. Okay, with that we completed this all problems pertaining to 1 mark from the NCERT question. We will do more questions from outside the book, which are very important and slightly difficult also in the next video. I hope this video is very useful to you. To get notifications on all video, I kindly request you to click the bell icon and also to subscribe to my channel and keep supporting the way you have been doing it right till now. Have a great day. See you again in the next video. Bye-bye.